Welcome to Iconic Talk. This is your community's podcast with conversations about real estate, local happenings, and all things Winchester, Virginia. I'm Mark Francis, a local realtor, broker, and owner at Icon Real Estate.
And I'm Megan Eanes, a local real estate agent for 20 years and part of the Icon Real Estate team. Mark and I are excited to share everything that we love about Winchester, Virginia with you. We want you to be informed, savvy real estate consumer in today's ever-changing market.
Yep, if you want local knowledge, you've come to the right place. End of September 29th.
I know. What happened to this
Year
month?
2022. I don't know. It's fall.
I can't say I'm upset about it.
The fall season is here. It's my favorite time of year.
Same here.
Yep. Just, it's my birthday. October month is coming up, so that's always fun. But that's not the only reason why I like fall. But it's the cooler weather.
Yep.
It's the leaf changes. It's just the fresh, crisp air. It's football season. It's, you name it. You go down the list. It's all kinds of fun reasons of why I like fall.
Oh, yeah. I love fall. And I think I might have said this earlier that I was hoping that this month went by fast.
Yeah.
So we're down to, of course, my son's in basic training right now. So we're down to 2 weeks out of 7.5. So
well, yeah. So we're
getting close.
Good.
I'm glad it went kind of fast. So.
And those phone calls, you just jump and answer him when he calls.
They've been very rare.
Yeah.
But we were supposed to get one this week, so my phone is right next to me.
Okay.
I sat in a closing yesterday, and my phone kept dinging, but I was afraid to turn it off.
Maybe he can be the first phone call into the show. Yeah.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be absolutely wonderful.
There you go. Yeah. So,
hi, son. How are you doing? Haven't talked to you in 2 weeks. Welcome to Iconic Talk.
Oh, well, it's interesting to think about the real estate world when it comes to fall. We've been talking about the changes in the market and making some predictions of hoping what September and October would look like. I feel like they're coming to fruition just a bit because we knew that the rates were going to change things, and they have. I still don't see it as a decline. I see it as just a flattening and back to a normal market. I have way more buyers than I have sellers right now. The buyers are out there shopping, and they're seeing things. There's more, I guess, inventory, but maybe they're being picky. They have very individual tastes, and they're waiting for the right thing to pop up, so they're still not jumping on things.
Well, that and they have that opportunity to stop and think because properties are sitting a little bit longer now. So it's not that hurry up and rush, got to make a decision or somebody else is going to get it.
Yeah. So
that urgency is kind of gone in the market, which is great for the buyers.
Yes. And I feel like, so that to me is back to a normal market. And I think that was the prediction that I was making back in the end of spring and summer, saying the fall is going to make us, realize, okay, where are we with the economy? Yeah, it's still, people are getting worried, they're getting concerned. From a real estate world, it's normal, okay? Rates are a little bit higher now than they were a year ago. Yes, we have to realize that.
Right.
They're not going to come back down. This is going to be the new normal. Gas prices go up. The stock market is in flux. The election season is coming up in November. That always plays a factor, too, for people when it comes to housing. And so not that there's a lull or slowdown, but it's just a normal kind of season.
Right.
If we can call it that. But when you think of buyers, you mentioned buyers are a little slower to make decisions right now. I have a couple of buyers who are in the very lower end, lower tier of a price point. We're talking just over $100,000 and just under $200,000. And I have people who, because of that, there is nothing for them.
Nope.
The way that the market has shifted where the prices have gone up, those prices are not coming back down. Just like the interest rates have gone up, the housing prices aren't going to come back down to $150,000 price point.
No, they are. They're not increasing like they were. We are seeing that change in price reductions. But no, I agree with you. They're not going to be coming back down. I mean, you say 100,000, and my first thought is I don't know of anything at all. No, regardless of condition.
I'm going to say $125,000, $130,000 was our buddy Marlon just quoted this person, and I'm like, okay, yes, I want to help you out, but here's the reality: it's not going to be in Winchester. It's not going to be in Frederick County. Maybe we can expand outside into a little bit of West Virginia or even Shenandoah County. Prices have dramatically gone up. a condo that I showed down there was 135,000. Then you tack on HOAs,
Yes.
and that's even above what this person was
for.
able to qualify for. So you think about, well, what other options do people like that have who are just first-time home buyers? They want to get into a home. What do we do? I mean, as an agent, I'm always suggesting buy.
Right.
Buying is the best option. A mortgage payment still, even with this higher rates, are going to outweigh a rental payment. But if you're in that spot, you need a place to live, renting is still going to be the best option and maybe your only option.
Right.
And
for more short term, while you're either maybe fixing something with credit,
Yeah.
or you're waiting to get a little bit more income, more money down. Who knows what the reasons might be? But obviously there is a decent rental market.
Yeah, and the rental market is insane too. So today, let's take just a few minutes to talk about this rental process because it's still can be a little scary.
Right.
You don't know what to expect. You don't know where you're going, and you're looking for a place, and you have what's called applications out there, and you see things on the internet. People can market for a rental house anywhere these
Correct.
days. You don't need an agent. I mean, we are agents. We do help people list rentals. Please call us for that. But people feel like, hey, I can do this myself and save a little bit of money. That's fine. I'm not gonna
Right.
I'm not gonna just say, oh no, you have to use agents for this. People can rent houses all the time.
Well,
By yourself.
It's amazing because when you're looking for rentals, I don't even know what the percentage is. I'm thinking it's rather low, the amount of people that actually will use a realtor to list a rental property.
Mm-hmm.
I think the majority of them, you can find them. I tell people, if you can't find something that I might have sent you, there's just not enough options. Drive around. Look for rent signs in windows.
Craigslist, Facebook. There's all kinds of other sites, just rent.com or apartments.com, or just going around town. Even the newspaper still, believe it or not, people are putting things in there also. I mean, so there's plenty of opportunities for you to go find something. But
Right.
Let's talk about the prospective tenant. So you're shopping. So take my client, for example.
Okay.
There's nowhere that she can find a place to buy. She needs to live in a place. What's the steps? What's the process? We need to go find a rental, right?
Correct.
So here's what at least I suggest to people, and chime in with, and let's talk this through. My first suggestion is to have all of your ducks in a row as best as possible. If you're just winging it and you start the shopping process too soon and you're not prepared, then the rental market now is still very hot where there are multiple applications coming in. So you could lose potentially a place because you don't have enough information to prepare to show a prospective landlord
Right.
that you're going to be able to get into the place. So before you shop, talk to a financial person, figure out what you really want to spend and afford. See if you can buy something. Get pre-approved, right? See what does the loan process look like for you, and if that's not working, then the rental process happens. So when I say ducks in a row, I'm like, find an application. Connect with the realtor. Realtors can help you with this process too. We do this all the time, and this is what I suggest: get your rental application mostly filled out because that's going to tell you what the landlord is going to be looking for. Get yourself a credit score. If you don't know what your credit score is, go online to the free credit report sites or whatever and print one out. Get a PDF of that. Get your couple pay stubs. Like wherever you work, have that prepared and lined up. And even today, it still helps to have like a little letter. Be like, here's what I am.
Explaining your situation.
Explain the situation because landlords can be a little fickle. And, how can you sell yourself? Here are the two things that I tell people that you need to convince the landlord of. You will pay on time, and you'll take good care of the place. That's all anybody cares about, right? And some landlords don't even care about that. But that's what I would be suggesting to any prospective tenant.
I would also throw in there, make sure you're pretty much going to be asked for 1 month's rent.
Yep.
And same thing with the security deposit will equal 1 month's rent. So you need to have money set aside for at least, let's say, 2 months worth of your rent.
Yep. And if you have any kind of pets, you're going to be marking that on the application.
Right.
Some landlords are going to be asking for a pet deposit. So yes, you'll have the 1 month's rent that you have saved up front, the security deposit, and maybe like a pet deposit or any other kind of potential fees. There's application fees that people will be asking for. If your budget is $1,500 a month, you better have at least $3,500 to $4,000 saved, ready to go. And so that's even scary.
Right, because
right?
usually I see usually $250 for like a deposit. That's on the low end, $250 for a pet deposit, and then sometimes they can charge you an additional $50 per pet per month.
Yep.
So of course that's going to increase everything else.
And application fees sometimes will be free, but they can range anywhere from $50 to $100, $150
per person.
Per person, because they're going to be running reports. So be prepared that yes, the landlord is going to want to run a credit report, maybe a background check or security kind of check on each person. And so they charge you for that.
Right. Each person over 18.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's looking at it from the tenant perspective. So again, just have your things prepared. So then when you are shopping and you find the place that you want, you have everything ready to go at your fingertips that you just can pull the trigger, and you're not taking days on end to submit the things.
Right, which just means someone else can come in and put their application in before you.
Right. And so from the landlord perspective, again, all they care about is that you're convincing them on paper and through these reports that you're going to pay on time, that you will be taking good care of the place. So if a landlord is looking at applications, what are they really looking at? What are they going to choose? All right, is it just simply credit score and credit score or bust, like you have to be 650 or above? Maybe, maybe not. Everybody's different.
I agree.
Right? So it's there's no rhyme or reason. There's no really template that we can tell you to predict of what somebody's going to want. So you just have to be prepared.
And some of them are going to look at your debt to income. So based on, how much you owe for your car payment and your credit cards, because that's stuff you're going to have to put on your application. So total that up. And then how much you make. What's that percentage? They're going to want to make sure that you have, money left over after you're done paying for food and all these other things to pay the most important part for them, and that's the rent.
And some landlords like to meet you. Some landlords don't care to meet you. Some landlords, I've even had a landlord that wanted to meet the pet before he let them move in. So there's...
As a pet owner, that actually kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what kind of an animal. If this is an animal that's, a little hyper and crazy, they're going to scratch up your windowsills if it's a dog or cat. Flooring. So that's interesting.
So it's be prepared. And again, I've said this so many times that there's no set template for this process. So as a prospective renter, a tenant looking to get your applications out there, be flexible. Understand that like every agent who is representing a landlord or every landlord who does not even represented is going to have their own opinions on what they want submitted or what they want done. And so that seems a little scary and daunting too, but if you have your ducks in a row, and if you're personable, and if you do meet the landlord, just smile and be friendly and sell them on the fact that you're a good person.
Right. Now, I will throw out there, too, a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, think that they can only rent. They've been renting for so many years, and they think that there's no other option but renting, that they can't buy. They just know they can't, and that they've just determined that's it. It's not in the cards for me. I'll never own a home. I'm just going to keep renting. That is not always the case. I always tell people that even when they come to me and they're renting, and obviously the case that you have clients that are already qualified, but there's just not any inventory for them. But most people that are coming to rent don't know whether they could buy or not. So I still recommend to my renters to talk to a lender, whether you're thinking about doing it now or you maybe in 3 to 5 years want to buy. A really good lender is going to be able to set you up on a plan of the things that you can do to be able to purchase in the future. And it doesn't cost you anything.
No.
So
they love to help you.
I always tell my renters, let's go ahead and do that. That way you're prepared for whatever the future might be. And I had this really awesome situation, first time ever in 20 plus years, where I had somebody that came to me, they wanted to rent, and we were out looking for rental properties. And in the meantime, I talked to her and I said, let's go ahead and get you in touch with a mortgage lender and let's just see. And she said, okay, fine. And then she called me, I don't know, 20 minutes later, and she's like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it. I am qualified. I can actually buy a house. I never thought, and she's in her mid 40s. She never thought she'd be able to buy a house. So it was the first time I'd ever been showing rental properties and homes to purchase at the same time. And she decided to buy and is absolutely ecstatic. In fact, she was
great.
Yep.
I loved her. Yeah. And so that's an interesting thought of just, even if you're not qualified, to have a game plan of what would it take to get you into a purchasing kind of scenario. And that's where mortgage lenders and financial advisors can help you with that process. Just to set you down a path of, it might be a year program or a year and a half or 2 years before you build your credit or pay down your expenses or do what you need to do to get that credit score up.
Or get to a place where you're comfortable also. But don't let fear, because I've talked to too many renters that it's the fear that they're never going to be able to buy. It's not even so much the reality, but just that fear. So conquer that fear. We can, reach out to a realtor. We can get you in touch with a lender that can help you on a game plan for your future if you do decide that you want to buy down the road. But
so I think that's great advice, because as an agent, yes, I'm biased, but everybody should own a home. I mean, there's value in being a homeowner, right? And so,
and it's an investment.
Yeah, and when you're a tenant, okay, it's home, but you don't own it, and it's home, but like if something breaks, okay, I can call somebody to take care of it. And there's pros and cons to owning a home, obviously, because things fix. You got to break it yourself, but there's the
other way
pride in
around.
Ownership. Yes, right, other way around, exactly. You got it. Yeah, you're following. You know what I'm talking about, right? So let's go back to the rental process, because we've set the groundwork for shopping. Now you find a place, you submit an application in the formats that the landlord has asked. By the way, there are some really cool online applications now that even realtors are using that do the application process and credit and security background checks all at one time, and it's really easy. So just because you might have already filled out a piece of paper application doesn't mean you don't have to repeat that process if the landlord is asking you for that.
Right, but then at least at that point, you've already found the information and you have it on a piece of paper that you can use as a reference point for you filling out the other information.
So now you get accepted. So now what? So again, there's no specific template, rhyme, or reason. Some landlords will ask you to fill out the lease right away. So there's the application paperwork, and then there's the actual lease of determining, okay, I'm going to be here for 12 months or 24 months or however long it's going to be. Filling out the lease, you're going to want to do a walkthrough. Just like if you were purchasing a house, you do a walkthrough, and it's really to protect you, the tenant, because the landlord is going to be asking you for a security deposit that they're going to hold. It will be refundable at the end of the lease if the house looks the same. So you want to document, what does the house look like now? It's kind of like renting a car. You go around, you kick the tires, and you look to see if there's any scratches or if the, a light's not working on the front headlights or something. You're looking for all those things.
So you can't be blamed for it later.
Right. So when you walk through the house, I've had plenty of people take pictures, document little scratches, dings here and there, or a faucet that might have little like drips coming out of it that doesn't close all the way, and the landlord's like, it doesn't matter, I'm not going to fix that right now. Okay, well, let's document that.
Because I didn't do it, and it wasn't working before I moved in.
So it's for your protection. So you're going to want to do a walkthrough, document it. Us realtors have all the paperwork for that. So that's one of the benefits of using us, to make sure that you're documented properly, and we'll save that paperwork for you.
Right.
And then money exchanges hands. We'll submit the security deposit, submit that 1 year, or the first month's rent, if there's a pet deposit, and then you get a chance to move in. I mean, it's that simple.
And it can be done within a matter of days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a long-term thing. It doesn't take, like when you're purchasing, it's not 45 to 60 days.
Right.
It could be, you could put an application in on Monday and you could be moving in
Let's
on
move
Friday.
it in. Yep.
So
let's
it can be
address
quick.
that, though. Okay, so from a landlord standpoint, if we are looking at applications, and let's say there's a couple of them, what's the criteria that we're going to use to choose an application over another? I think the first and foremost is, what's the job? What kind of job does a tenant have? What is their salary? What's their credit score? What's their timing? And then are there any other underlying or extraneous situations that are going on? That's not a word. Anyway, situations that are
today.
It is today. Thank you. What are things going on that are causing them to rent and not buy? What's causing them to move out of their existing place and looking to shop? So when you triggered me when you said we can do this in a couple of days. As a landlord, I'm a little leery of renters and applications coming to me who are in a panic, who are in a hurry, saying, "Hey, I need to move into some place real quick." Okay, why?
I could see that.
What is going on? Are you getting kicked out of your current place?
Did you just break up with your boyfriend?
Yes. Did you just maybe lose your job for some reason? Now you can't afford the house that you're in and you're getting foreclosed on? Or what are the situations going on that are causing you to be in such a
That's a really good
hurry?
point.
And my personal preference as a previous landlord and somebody representing landlords is I want somebody who's proactive, who is thinking down the road, who knows, hey, I'm going to need a house in a couple of months, and I'm shopping several weeks in advance, and I'm ready to move in end of November because I know that's when I'm going to be prepared. It's having your ducks in a row. It's showing that you're organized and that it's that, again, the proof that you're going to pay on time and take good care of the place. And so somebody who's super urgent, I'm a little leery of, And so if you are urgent, sell your story of why.
Right.
Why you're that urgent. Right. I was just talking to one of our agents earlier this week who sent me a text and I've got somebody who needs a rental by Friday. And I said, okay. I said, Mr. Agent, why is your client in such a hurry? Okay, they got their house under contract and they now are looking to move before they are building their house. And they got to move quickly. I'm like, okay, that's a good story.
Right.
That's probably one of the top stories. Somebody who's qualified, who's eligible, who's building a house, who needs a rental quickly, over the next 6 to 12 months. That's a good story. A bad story is like what you just said.
Yeah.
I broke up with my boyfriend. I hate him. I've got to move out. And now how am I going to pay for this? I just need to get in a place. Or my current landlord's kicking me out. He hates me. I hate him. I'm gonna trash him and throw him under the bus, and I just need a better place. Okay, well, we need to be a little cautious of that.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Completely. And I guess I'll admit I've done many rentals, but I don't do them regularly, and that is not something that really crossed my mind.
Yeah.
But it's a very, very good point because. It kind of got me thinking.
So as a landlord,
definitely.
those are going to be the criteria if I'm looking at multiple applications, or even if it's just the one and somebody's coming to me, I'm going to try to fish through some of their stories of what's happening behind the scenes that's not just in the black and white paperwork.
So as a renter in that situation, be prepared that landlord is going to really want you to explain why you're in such a hurry.
Exactly. Yeah. Or don't get in a hurry.
Right. If you know you got 30 days, then start on day 1, not on day 25.
Because as a landlord, that's a red flag. Is somebody who's not organized, who's not proactive, they're not going to be paying on time. They're going to be flying by the seat of their pants and, paying bills and forgetting to pay bills or, moving in or moving out, or they're going to not be a good tenant.
Candidate or tenant, yeah.
Exactly. So once you have the lease drawn up, life is good. I mean, you move in and you take good care of the place. What a typical lease is going to say is that as a tenant, you're in charge of cutting the grass, changing the light bulbs, changing filters, just taking good care of the place, cleaning it. Utilities, you're definitely paying for those unless you negotiate differently. But then the landlord's going to be in charge of the big ticket items. Like if a tree falls on the house and there's a roof leak, or if I don't know, dishwasher is broken down, you're gonna be calling the landlord, or they might have a property manager.
That does bring up a good point when you mentioned the tree falling on the roof. That would be the landlord's insurance.
Yeah.
But something that is imperative is, as a renter, and I don't know if all renters do it, and they should.
They should.
Rental insurance. Because yes, the house is covered. It should be covered by the landlord because they're going to have insurance on it. But everything in it that belongs to the renter and the tenant is not going to be covered by their insurance. So you need to make sure as a renter you get renter's insurance.
Most leases require that in writing, and not everybody acknowledges it or enforces it. And so it's definitely worth doing because, yes, the owner of the house has their own insurance, but then as a tenant, you should have insurance as well.
And I don't think it's very expensive, but it's just that protection that if something were to happen, your things are protected.
Yep, that's good. I mean, we've covered a lot.
I think so.
I think we took the viewpoint of both the tenant and the landlord here in this conversation. So, yeah, hopefully it helps you out, and hopefully it just gives you an opportunity to say, okay, if I am in that position, here's what we need to do. Or if you're maybe this can help them out.
Right. So this one kind of goes with our flipping episode that we did, where either flipping or investing, if you're choosing to invest and then you want to rent, this would go with that in terms of the process that you'd be looking to do. And also then for the renters that are, looking to move, start something out, find a new place while they're looking to build.
Yep.
Or while they're waiting for, your client's situation, for either homes to come down a little bit or them to be able to afford a little bit more.
Yeah, and agents can help you out. So call us for any of those options. Again, I'm not dismissing that we won't and can't help you. It's just like there's so many other opportunities for you to do it yourself as a tenant or a landlord than there are in the purchasing process. There's just a little less paperwork. It's a little more personalized, again, to whatever the landlord wants to get done and paperwork that he or she wants. It's not as templated and not as complicated, but there's just some of these pitfalls to look out for. So hopefully this helped you out.
Right.
But, well, cool. So let's just move on as we're wrapping up here for today. What are the upcoming local events? And I know there's a big one that's coming up.
Yes. So
I'm excited.
This Friday through Sunday is the Ravenwood Fair.
And that is one of our own, Stacy Rao, one of our agents, and she used to be our office manager. Her and her husband, they're big into this. One of the original founders of Ravenwood Fair. We support them. So it is an amazing experience. And it keeps growing every year.
It's the family-oriented medieval enthusiast, and it's at the fairgrounds, Frederick County Fairgrounds.
Yep.
There's also it's the first annual nature festival in Lake Frederick. They're going to have wildlife presentations, kayak use, Smokey Bear's going to be there. Now, here's another drive-through. Apparently, this is becoming a weekly thing.
Yep. Yep.
So if you could plan one meal a week just from our podcasts here with drive-through. So there's a beef and ham drive-through dinner on Saturday from 3 to 6 at Gainsborough Volunteer Fire and Rescue. It's $16 a meal.
Yeah.
There's also an evening of caring and sharing. It's a fundraiser for the Winchester area temporary shelter, which is Watts. I'm not sure if what Watts is it provides overnight shelter for the homeless in temperatures. I think it's usually November through mid-March.
And they bounce around from place to place of where is in the community. Yeah, it's a great...
My church would always do 1 week, usually like the first or second week in March.
Yep.
But they would help out with that. So that's going to be $50 on Saturday, October 1st from 5 to 10 at Bowling Green Country Club North. And then there's also Greenwood Fall Pancake Day. That's going to be at the Greenwood Volunteer Fire and Rescue. $10 adults, $6 for kids. It's dine in or carry out on Sunday, the 2nd from 8 to 1.
Cool. A lot of food.
Yeah, there's a lot of food.
And the hurricane down in Florida,
right?
I just hope and pray that things go well with all the people down there. That rain is going to eventually be pushing up in our area, not anywhere near tropical storm kind of weather, but I think there might be some rain dates potentials here that for this weekend, just to be on the lookout for.
They did put it in here, at least for the Lake Frederick. The rain date is going to be on Sunday, but I don't know if we're going to still be getting rain on Sunday.
It's looking going to be a little sloppy.
We contemplated camping just for a brief moment, and then my husband reminded me of the weather that's coming. And no, thank you.
Yeah, hurricane season. It's not good. So, thoughts and prayers for all the people in Florida going through it all. So, well, we definitely hope that you learned something from today's episode. Thanks for joining us. It's always neat to share these items with you, and we look forward to sharing more with you even next week. Remember, when you're looking for a real estate professional, make sure they're experienced, innovative, personal, dedicated, and available.
And we let me start that over again. We appreciate you spending some of your valuable time with us. And if you have a moment, we'd love it if you'd leave us a rating and review. And if you're enjoying listening, take a moment to subscribe or share this podcast with your friends.
Yep. Until next time, think iconic.